Sorry about that. We were just having some technical difficulties, but I'm trying out a new format and I wanted to just kind of invite you guys in. Hi, everybody. Good morning. And so it's going to be called Dapper Dossier Live. And what we're going to do is just every morning around 9 o'clock, I'm going to try to jump on and share a little tidbit about the three things that we're really trying to focus on in 2020. So we have really narrowed down the topics that we are going to be really discussing with you guys through the blog and through this medium and through our one-on-one coaching. And really, we're going to be talking about communication. We're going to be talking about networking, and we're going to be talking about how to be a better public speaker. So in that regard, what I've done is I have created a great little calendar, and we're going to just take one little tiny topic each day and kind of address it and then answer your questions about it and just kind of go from there and see what evolves. But I really am excited about connecting with you guys. It's been so much fun to connect throughout the holiday season and really kind of talk to you a little bit about Hosted, which we're really still refining and figuring out exactly what it does. But Dapper Diplomat is the bigger overarching brand. And so I wanted to kind of jump on and talk with you guys who follow along and just answer your questions and go from there. So I thought we'd just jump right in with the first topic that we're going to talk about in 2020, which really falls under that communication umbrella. And so, hi, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. So that first topic, all right, it falls under common courtesies in professional communication. And really it is about responding in a day. Okay, that's all we're talking about for the next 15 minutes, right? So it's that easy. All you have to do is respond to people, whether that be their text message, whether that be their, I'm learning all about this technology, so you can just kind of bear with me. This is my first one. But whether that be in their text message, whether that be their phone call, whether it be an email. And really, I think you can apply responding in a day to every aspect of your life. It doesn't just have to be in the business world. It definitely is really important in the business world. If you get an inquiry, you should respond within a 24-hour period. If you get an email from your client, you should respond in a 24-hour period. If your friend texts you, you should respond in a 24-hour period. It's not as hard as we make it seem. And I think really what we have to do is kind of prioritize the things that are in our lives, right? I think this comes down to priorities. And that's what I think a lot of communication is about. Hi, thanks for joining. And if you're just joining, we are talking about responding in a day, right? So I wrote in a blog recently, it's that easy. All you have to do is get back to people. Pick up the phone or shoot off an email, but make the effort to consider the other person's point of view and then reciprocate accordingly, right? It's not that difficult to do. And all you really have to do, hi, thanks for coming, is to just break it down and just kind of prioritize how you are going to do your communication in 2020, right? And so what questions do you guys have about responding in a day? Why do you think that it is so hard to respond very quickly, right? We get caught up. We get distracted. Another phone call comes in. Another piece of information comes in and distracts us, or we realize we have to go and do something. And so we don't do the thing that's the most necessary and right in front of us, right? And I was talking with my friend this morning, and we were talking a little bit about journaling and setting intentions for your day, right? And so I've been really trying to do this. And I've been doing something called morning pages, where I sit down and I write out what things I want to accomplish in the day, what things I'm thinking about. I kind of just journal. It's a freestyle journal, right? But what I've found, and it doesn't really matter what you journal about, but what I've found is that in doing that journaling, it's really helped me focus. It's focus in on how to prioritize my day. And so what I've been doing is doing the little journaling. It's kind of expanded my mind. It's gotten me a little bit creative, right? And then I have been doing just a very short list, maybe 5 little things to be able to accomplish for the day. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 2, maybe it's even 1 thing, just 1 thing to accomplish that day, right? So I've been trying to do that. And what I found is that in doing that, it allows me to be able to respond to other things very quickly, because I'm not trying to bite off this huge chunk of tasks for the day. I'm trying to only do 1 thing. So when the email comes in, I can respond right away. When the text message comes in, I can respond right away. I am present in my business, right? And I think it's just a common courtesy. And what I also think here at Dapper Diplomat is that we talk a lot about the basics, right? We talk a lot about the basics, though, because a lot of people don't do the basics, okay? We don't do them. We just have let them go. And as we get more connected, I mean, we're connected right now. I'm doing Facebook and Instagram Live simultaneously. If that's not connected, there's really nothing that is, right? But we get more connected. We get drawn in. We get kind of in this place where things are moving at lightning speed, and we're just trying to keep going, and we forget to actually make a human connection. And how are we making human connections these days? Yes, it's in person, right? But a lot of people do a lot of work on email, on the phone, even sometimes via text message. And so if you can just respond in a day, that's all you have to do. It's 1 24-hour period, right? Even if you take the time at the end of the night to respond to all of your text messages, you're sitting in bed, you're scrolling through Instagram already. You might as well just fire off the few quick texts that you need to fire off. Maybe they're asleep, maybe they're not asleep. Most likely you're not going to be waking them up, but you will have responded. Oh, I love it. This is so nice. Somebody on the Facebook Live said, I'm convicted. This is not directed at you, friend, okay? But it's just a gentle reminder for all of us that we just have to respond. It's not that hard, right? So throw out your questions. I'll answer them here. We're going to just kind of try this format, maybe 5 or 10 minutes every morning, talk about a little topic, see what kind of feedback we get, and go from there. So for those of you who just might be joining or who might be watching later, today's topic is really all about responding in one day, right? It's about communication. It's about just getting out there and doing it and making the time, right? And pausing. So it's about using those tools that we've really learned about in our toolkit from 2019. Oh my gosh, right? It's a little early. My coffee hasn't kicked in yet. But it's about using those tools that we learned in 2019 and using the kind of toolbox that we've built to be able to respond to people and engage with people and be just a good steward and a good citizen and a good business owner if you own your own business, or a good employee if you're an employee of a business, right? And I was struck. I actually got this really great book from a friend of mine for the holiday, and it is the autobiography of the head of Disney. And if you haven't read it, it's really quite incredible. But one of the things that struck me there was that he really speaks a lot about responding instantaneously, right? Responding in a measured way, responding in a way that you've thought things through, but responding, right? And when he first became the CEO of Disney, I thought it was really interesting because one of the goals that he had pitched to the board when he was hired was that he wanted to rebuild the relationship that had been destroyed between Pixar and Disney, right? And so he was afraid. He was afraid to reach out. He was afraid to see what Steve Jobs, who at that time was the owner or the half owner of Pixar. And so he was terrified. And so he called Steve Jobs, and he got a voicemail, right? And so he had to leave a voicemail. He said, but within an hour, Steve Jobs had called him back. And they had a great little conversation. Nothing came of it at that point, but he responded immediately. I mean, Steve Jobs, if Steve Jobs, basically the busiest man on the planet, can return a phone call within a day, all of us could return a phone call in a day. I mean, this is two CEOs, right? When you think about the heads of large corporations, their days are structured so that they can respond almost immediately. So what we have to do is we have to just structure that for ourselves so that our day is structured like the day of a Fortune 500 CEO so that you can respond. Give yourself, just as a recap, a few little tips, right? A few little projects on your to-do list. 1, 2, 3 projects. Today on mine, there's only 2 things, right? But those are the 2 most important things that I have to do. But that's going to free up some time for me to be able to answer email or respond to texts or do the things that I needed to do. So if you sent me a text this morning and I haven't responded to you, you're on my list. Don't you worry. All is going to be well. So I thank you guys so much for joining. I hope those of you who are watching afterward are going to enjoy this. It is called Dapper Dossier Live, and we're just going to be breaking down one little quick tidbit around communication or networking or public speaking every single day. So tune in, enjoy. I'm going to try to do it at 9. Sorry, there were a few little technical difficulties this morning, so we started a little bit late because it's my first one. So I really appreciate your leniency. And if you sent me something, I will definitely respond within a day. So hope you have a great Monday, and I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.